So today, I want to tell you a little bit about the Kanban method. And the problem I encounter as a trainer is that most of the people I see think they do Kanban, but they aren't. Right? So that's why the subtitle says, more than you think it is. Right? So many times people come up to me and say, yeah, we're using Kanban. And I'm like, so you're using Kanban, right? Yeah, Scrum didn't work for us. Right? Why? Too much interruption, right? Too much interrupting work. Iterations didn't fit. You know, like every time we planned a sprint, somebody came up to us and it changed the whole plan for the iteration. So we had to either throw away our plan for the iteration or just like start all new. You know, breaking the iteration. So I'm asking you, so what do you do now? Yeah, we switch to Kanban because it's like, you know, no iterations. And I'm just like, okay. But so you fix the problem of interrupting work, right? So interrupting work normally is something like, normally we build features, but then somebody comes and like, oh yeah, we have a bug here and we have a bug there. Or could you analyze this? Could you give me feedback on this one? I need an estimate on that one, and all the other things. So, so you got rid of interrupting the work, or at least a failing sprint, you know, because the sprint shouldn't be changed. But there are so many other things you didn't get rid of, right? You have blocked work, you have no overview, transparency isn't there, waiting on others, you have dependencies on other teams, on other people in the company. You need decisions. You are not predictable. Bad quality, overburden, missed deadlines, working on the wrong things. All these things you didn't fix them, right? All you did is getting rid of sprints, right? But people will still come up to you and interrupt you and ask you for things, right? So the only thing that's not interrupted is the sprint because it's not there anymore, right? So you're still interrupted. So around 80% of Kanban implementation we see are sticky notes on the wall. So it's basically the Kanban, the Scrum task board to do, doing, done, and now we put a WIP limit on it, and it's Kanban. And most of the time, people, they don't care about the WIP limit because it just doesn't work, right? There's still work coming in. Like all these blue things, you could, oh wait, how do you get used to this one? So all these blue cards are like, I don't know, imagine that half of them are features and the other half are all the things that you were asked for to do instead of the other things, right? So you stop working on one thing, work on this one here. You stop working on that one and you work on that one, and also going on and on and on. Right? So it isn't bad that these 80% of implementations are like sticky notes on the wall. We call that proto-Kanban, and it's a good start, right? People get used to it. Maybe even if you don't feel like using the 8 on your column, you know, the WIP limit, maybe it starts some discussions. So someday somebody gets annoyed and says, so we have this WIP limit here of 8, and we have, I don't know, 20, 25 cards on that wall. So either we get rid of the 8 or we do something about it. So this one here is a caveat diagram I did last week in one of my Kanban Management Professional 2 classes. And so all these people in that class, they have a Kanban system. And the first thing I do with them on day 1 is to teach them about the Kanban agendas. I will tell you about them. I teach them about the Kanban lens. You will hear about them. And like to give them a feeling about where are you with your Kanban system. Right? So you're using Kanban. Nice, but how far are you? And this diagram shows that, yeah, people are really good in visualizing, right? So I think the blue one was the only one with an electronic tool. So visualization wasn't that good. Another nice thing to see is feedback loops are missing. Right? So it's in the low first, third, and the other things like, oh yeah, this is in German. So improving with models, like it's not used at all, right? So some of them say, yeah, we do that. Manage flow, yeah, somehow a little bit. Work in progress limits, yeah, we do that. And I think on that one here, they lied. I'm pretty sure of that. So most of these will be personal VIP limits, no system VIP limits. Most of them, we talked about that later on, didn't limit the system. Like your system, your service, they limited how much work Frank can have. Like you're allowed to have 2 avatars and just work on 2 things at the same time. Right? And so this is a typical picture if you go to some common client or something else, somebody else, and make something like do something. So visualization is good because that's really easy, right? And we get a lot of benefit of it, right? It's really powerful to see the picture, you know, have a map of where you are and where you need to go to improve. And most people stop there. So another really important thing, this one here is policies explicit policies. So you have a huge spread, right, from, I think, like, what is it, 1 to 7? And policies are one of the most important things in a Kanban system. They define how you work. They define the framework you're moving in. They are the borders of your map, right? If something changes and you're not following your rule, you can't say what's going on, right? So you need to have explicit policies. You need them in a huge variety, and I will show you later. So just keep in mind, explicit policies are very, very important. And normally easy to get, right? You just have to talk about them. So let's talk about the change management principles. So there are 3. And the first principle of Kanban, or the Kanban method, is start with what you do now. And this doesn't mean that you don't change anything in the beginning. Yeah, you don't. Because before you change, you need to understand where are you? Who's your customer? Right? Understand your processes as it's actually practiced. Right? So this is the Kanban, just so you know. And so first thing you do is understand what is our current process, how is it working, who's our customer, who are we working with, who do we have dependencies on, and all the other things. And while you do that, you respect all the existing roles and responsibilities and job titles. So everybody keeps his job, keeps his title, because this helps to lower fear of change. You know, you do whatever you did, keep doing that. But at some point, maybe we change that, right? But if we do, we will understand why we do it, and the person who has to change will understand too, right? It will be easier. So understanding what we do, we can take the service delivery principles and look at them. First thing, understand and focus on your customer needs and expectations. Yeah? What is it the customer wants and what is his or her needs? Right? So understand that. Manage the work and let the people self-organize around it. For this, you have to have alignment, right? To give autonomy to the teams or the people working in your system, you need to know where to go. Like everybody in the system, everybody who is working with the Kanban system needs to know who's our customer, what is our goal, how do we improve. Like, and then I can leave them on their own and let them work. Do whatever they need to do to accomplish the mission. Right? If you want to know more about this, Alignment and Autonomy. Read The Art of Action of Stephen Bungay, by Stephen Bungay. It's a great book. So Jason Yip, he works for Spotify, summarized it pretty good. Too many managers look for the person who's not busy rather than the product that is not flowing. Like, you're not looking for the people who's sitting around. You just look, is the work flowing? Great. If the work is flowing, it's a good thing the person sits there and isn't doing nothing. And he probably won't do, like, he is not doing nothing. There's always something you can do. Like, everybody of you has these treasures. Like, if we would do this, that would be really helpful, right? So if you can't do anything for the work on the board, do something of these little treasures. Like, improve the system, like improve yourself to help the system. Understand that the organization is an ecosystem of interdependent services steered by its policies. So you have an organization, and there are very many services inside your company, your organization, who are all working on delivering a service for your customer, right? And all these little services inside your organization, and they can, like, so you have one of the dots here. Here's a customer there, and here's a customer there. Right? He's inside the company, but still has a customer. This one here gives work to him, and that little dot here gives the work to that one. Right? So depending on what level you're using Kanban, your customer could be an inside customer, right? Somebody inside your company. And very important here, steered by its policies. So if you don't know your policies, you don't know how this system works, right? So again, policies are very important. And reflect regularly on their effectiveness and improve them. Right? David showed you the Kanban cadences. They are there to reflect on the stuff you do, on the policies you have. Do that regularly and see what is working, what isn't working. Like, okay, we are using this policy, but something changed, right? So it's not working as intended, but we didn't do anything else. Look out for that. Defining services. So you hear that a lot. Services here, services there. What is a service, right? And so a service always has a customer and a workflow to deliver the service. Right? So identify the customer and the workflow of the service delivery. Is there a service delivery manager? Maybe it's not called a service delivery manager, but there is something responsible for this service. Who's responsible for that service? Is it the team lead? Is it the department manager? Whatever. So look out for him or her. Map the workflow for each type of work. You have different kinds of work, type of work. There may be like some feature, there's maybe some bugs, there are some changes you have to do, different project, different customers, right? So these all differ by some point, and maybe they have different workflows, right? But map them, and you will see. Is it a? Oh, that should be it. Is it a shared service, right? So, are you getting your work from just one other service, or are there many services who are depending on you, right? So, an ops team is very a good example for this, right? Because ops people provide services to a lot of people in the company, and it doesn't have to be IT. Right? So another thing, understand the pattern and volume of requests. How is work coming into the service? What's the pattern? How much of it is coming? Right? I'm working for a university in Switzerland, and they have a lot of stuff to do when, how do you, semester? You call that semester? When the semester starts, they have a lot of work to do. Right? I was working for another company And the boss of the company is the president of my favorite football team. You call it soccer in the US. And she's the assistant of the boss. And she was like, oh yeah, so all these Kanban thing is really nice, but if a coach gets fired, every plan I have is, yeah, I don't care about the plan because then things are different, right? So, but it's good, she knows that. So there is a point in the season of the league that the coach can be fired. And this means she has to call newspapers, TV stations, all the other people. And everything she does normally doesn't count anymore. It's all about the fired coach. So know your work. Understand how requests are handled. So maybe work is handled differently from depending on the customer who's asking. Right? Maybe you handle it differently because you have some big event coming up. Right? So it needs to be expedited. Right? Maybe you have a fixed date you have to do, something you need to do because the government asks you to do. Right? So know that. And the last one is there a service request manager? Is there somebody responsible to take care of all the requests coming to this service? Right? And how is he handling the work? And again, like the same for the service delivery manager. Maybe he's not called the service request manager, but there is somebody who does it. If you're a Scrum team, it's probably the product owner. So we have the service delivery on top, the service who delivers the product in the end, and we have the discovery process. Yeah, somebody who's working with the requests, polishing them, like building something, a minimal viable product, for example, to learn to lower risk, for example, and is providing the work to this service delivery. Right? So, gain agreement to pursue improvement through evolutionary change. Why is that important? Anybody have an idea? Steve? Yeah, if there's no agreement, nobody's going to change, right? That doesn't mean that every time you change something, you have to get like the whole company inside the organization and say, so we are thinking about a change. What do you think? And then like things started. Like it's not the parliament. But first of all, it's something. If you do a change, think about who is involved and what they need. Right. So and from there, move in small little steps. If you move too fast, people will lose you. They will be like, oh no, I'm not coming with you. Right? It's too much. But do little steps, small steps, and move from there. Right? David explained it in his keynote, the evolutionary steps to improve. Yeah. The pursue, I think, is very important too. It's nothing we do once. We do it all the time. Right? And the other important thing is evolutionary change. Right? Step by step, small changes, mutate the process, and learn from it. Encourage acts of leadership at every level. Everybody in the company, in the organization, is responsible to change, to show leadership, and change where the part where he or she is responsible for. If you're a developer, change the stuff so you can develop better software. Right? If you're a project manager, do the stuff you need to do projects better. Right? But always in agreement with everybody in the organization or at least who's responsible for the service. Right? And again, you don't need to talk to every single one, but it's important that you at least think about what is happening to the other guys. Right? So if we know the principles, we want to implement the Kanban method or Kanban somewhere. Right? And we didn't talk about the practices yet, but I think the first step you need to know or think about is which agenda are you following? Right? So Kanban has 3 agendas. The first one, we start from the bottom, is the sustainability agenda. The second one is service orientation, or service-oriented, and survivability. So sustainability, it's creating a sustainable service, right, to deliver quality products, relieve staff from overburdening, and raising customer and employee satisfaction. Right? That's something most teams I start with are not able to do. Producing quality products, like, forget the quality products, but at least be predictable, right? Deliver software or a product in a certain cadence, you know, like, so the customer can be sure that, yeah, it's not a lottery if I give that service something. And relieve staff from overburdening. It's very, like, most of the agile people out there talk about that too, right? Raising customer and employee satisfaction and relieve staff from overburdening, and quality products, of course. So this is the sustainability agenda. You do this on the team level and to create or department level, to create a predictable and sustainable service. Right? So if you're moving on, so maybe one word to the sustainability agenda. So the sustainability agenda is something I do with teams for the, I don't know, first couple, 2 to 3 months, and after that they understand how things are working. Keep following that agenda. If you have the team standing in front of, how did we decide to do that? You know, can I move that ticket now? You know, what about that column? Like, you know, if you have something like this, you're still not there, right? If the people are just like moving to the board and they're moving their tickets and standing in front of the board, having the daily stand-up, and like, oh yeah, so we have this, and somebody's coming in like, oh yeah, I need this one. Yeah, you have to wait first, right? So we're like, give us your request, and we take care of it, and we will see what we do. So one of my teams in Hamburg, I had one of the guys, every time somebody comes in and had something, he was like, oh yeah, I can take off this. And I was like, no, Philip, you're not doing this. And we have a plan here. We do that, and then we talk in a team, like in the team, what to do about the request, right? So these are things that making the service not sustainable, right? Because it's becoming a lottery. Like, so I commit to something, the work on my board, and then somebody comes in and wants something else, and I'm switching from task to task, and this means that it's not getting any it's not predictable anymore. So service orientation. This is something, if your team is not talking about like how to move tickets on the board and stuff, you can take care of this one and work with the team lead or the department manager how to make the right decisions for the service he's responsible for, and create a reliable and predictable service delivery. Like, this is a step forward. First, the sustainability agenda is like something, we deliver something, yeah, and we do this continuously. And this one here is taking the customer view and looking at that and saying, okay, what does the customer need? Right? Maybe invite them to a replenishment meeting, for example, right? Have them there. So we have some space left. Please tell us what do you need, and you can like pull it into that column. Right? I think I have a picture of here. If not, you can come afterwards to me and how the team in Hamburg, for example, does it. So survivability agenda is something, if you follow the service orientation agenda and your different services, interdependent services, to pick the phrase from before up, do all the things to follow the service orientation agenda. The survivability agenda is something that comes up, like it's a logical next step. Right? You have a lot of services in your organization. that focus on this service, on the customer, and this, I would say, somehow works for the customer from the outside too. Right? So this one here is providing the senior management with a map of the organization's capability. So what are we able to do and what are we able not to do? Right? That's something very important. Most people don't know that, right? And very important too. What is what are the needs the market has? Sense opportunities and changes in the market. Maybe there was some hints for Nokia to see that Apple decides that they build a smartphone, right, and release it in 2007. Maybe they were just blind. Maybe they needed something to have a better sense of the market. So, and this helps to adopt the right strategy and change the business model accordingly. So if the market changes, your organization needs to change, right? Or at least the way how you do things, deliver service to your customer. So these are the 3 agendas, and depending on what you need in your company, you follow one or the other, right? You can start them all by all together, but I think a more easy way is to start with the service orientation, or at least have different services in your company, implementing the Kanban method, and then start from there, to scale them up, connect them, have different policies how to work together. Right? And basically, the stuff David told us before in his keynote, how to scale Kanban. So let's come to the practice. So we decided what agenda we want to follow, and now we want to implement Kanban in different services. Right? So we have 6 practices, and the first one, visualize. Right? Visualization doesn't mean only sticky on the wall. Right? You want to visualize the blocker, right? The blockers in your system. What is blocking our work? Right? You want to visualize where is work. Hold off. Where's our constraint? Right? If there's somebody here in the room who owns that picture, I found it on Google. So it's I don't know. Just tell me. I want to give credit to that one. And you want to visualize which project are we working on, right? So this team here, it's an ops team. They have these yellow and green post-its there. These are changes and standard changes. Standard changes just means there's a documentation. Everybody in the team can do it, and even I could do it if I would be asked to do that, right? And seeing this one here up, these are all committed projects. So every single one of them has an avatar on it. Right, and these are the projects coming in. And if you count them, you have 13 projects up here. If you count these ones, the pink ones are changes or standard changes. So basically they are yellow or green tickets, but they belong to a project. Okay? So if you count them, 13 here, and if you count these, they are just 9. So you're at least not working on 4 projects. This team. So one of the first things we did here is reduce the amount of projects inside the system to, I think, 3. Right? So going down from 13 projects to 3. Another thing you want to visualize is who are we waiting for? Right? So maybe it's some vendor or some other team in the company, or I don't know, it's a project manager. But you want to know who are you waiting for and how long are you waiting for them. Maybe it's first it's important to raise the topic because they don't know they are holding you off from doing your work, right? So be transparent about that. Visualize critical stuff. Right? What is critical? What are we looking for? Right? What are the important things on our Kanban board? Right? So yeah, this was the avatar. Oh, wait. The Hodor avatar was the avatar of the team lead, and every time the Hodor was put on the critical, he has to do something. Visualize your metrics. This is a simple throughput visualization. How many tickets are we delivering every week? So every column is a week. Right? Visualize what kind of tests you're working on. This is a board I was. I worked for a dating platform, Friendscore24, and we were doing lean startup. So every ticket, every blue ticket we see here, is a test we were doing on the platform, and here are the tests running on the platform, currently running on them. Right? And if they were good, we activated the feature for the whole platform. If they were bad, they moved to this column here, and it says clean and remove, so the developers had to remove it again from the code base. Visualize your policies and make it easy to change them. Don't print them. Put them on a card, put them on a wall, and every time you need to change something, take it away, put something new on it if you have something. The monkey wall. Show people how often they interrupt your work. This is the monkey wall. So every single ticket here is an interruption. Right? And it goes on. It doesn't end. Right? Show what risks are in the project, in the feature you want to do. Right? This is taken from the ESP class with David 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago already? Yeah, I think. And so you see, and I think Andreas Bartel, is he here? No, he's probably over there. But it's a risk framework we built for his company or his work. And like these are the important things on the different dimension they take care, like that are important for them, like security, cost of delay, technical. Is it a blackout if we don't do it? What is the margin? And so on, right? And that was really easy. It took us maybe half an hour to get this framework. Let's say make it an hour. Like it's worth it. Visualize what work is on your board, right? How many projects, how long should they take, the bug, analyze them, improvement, right? Visualize all the things, right? Be careful, don't visualize things that don't help you, right? But do it. And you see, visualization is not only putting sticky notes on the wall. It's so much more, right? Limit work in progress, right? Little's law, lead time equals, the average lead time equals the average work in progress divided by the average throughput. Right? You can, like, because some people don't know what this really means, but you can see it here in the CFD, one of my clients. So this here is around 3 to 4 weeks, and this is where they started to implement Kanban. Right? And what you see there is they have a lot of work here, their lead time, and their throughput. And so this is, I think, 3 to 4 months. This is Christmas. And what you see, the throughput is stable all the time. Right? You can move that line, and it's almost a straight line. But what you also see is that after 3 to 4 weeks, the work in progress gets lower, and the lead time gets shortened. Right? So we have the same throughput. Sorry, the same throughput over all these weeks, but a shorter lead time just by reducing the work in progress. Right? And this is not a work in progress limit on like the staff on the team. Not something like, oh, you're allowed to do just 1 or 2 things at a time. This is a work in progress on the system. Right? Yeah, I got something here. Now I'm good again. So, oh yeah, some animation, magic. And so this is like, it's not much, But it's only 6 weeks, right? But we also already see a reduction in lead time. A better example is this one here. This is a control chart of the team in Hamburg I told you about. So this is when they started. It's September 2015. And 95% of their work is finished in 62 days. That's not predictable. Like, if somebody asks you, when are you done? And you tell them, 95% in 62 days. For ops team, that's not good. That's nothing you want to hear. And you have some outliers here. It's like 148 days, I think. Yeah. And this picture here is in February 2016. So what is it, 6 months later? And what you see is that 95% of the tickets here is done in 14 days. This is way more predictable than before, right? So the spread is way, 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 way lower. Yeah, you have some outliers, but these are things they actually had time now to do. All the old stuff, lying around, and they never could do. So 95% in 14 days, right? To remember, 62 days and 95%. This is a 6-month period, right? You could see first improvements after 3 to 4 weeks, and it was almost 1/3 of the lead time they had before. Oh, it's German. So this is called flow efficiency. By limiting work in progress, you lower the flow. You raise the improve the flow efficiency. Flow efficiency is like if you have a work item and it's starting from your commitment point until you deliver it to your customer. The rate of how much time of it did it wait, and how much time did we really work on. So a normal flow efficiency of not limited system which are not limited is and this is really I'm nice here. It should be like 1 to 10% and not 5 to 15%. So 5 to 15% or 1 to 10% is work time, and the rest of it is just waiting for somebody or something. Right? With the Kanban system, you can improve this, and everything over 40% is good. If you want to learn more about flow efficiency and the effects of it, if you have low flow efficiency, look for a video, The Efficiency Paradox, from Niklas Modig. So, what do we get by limiting work in progress? Speed, less multitasking, happier staff, better predictability, better flow efficiency, and time to improve, slack time. So now we have the time to do the stuff we really want to do to help us, right? Manage flow. Know how and when work arrives. Know the risk involved, costs and impact. Use the risk frameworks to compare options. I will upload the slides, so you don't need to take a picture of all the slides. Use risk framework to compare options. Right? Cost of delay for scheduling. Use cost of delay to manage your flow. Know how your work is coming in and what you need to do the work. Know the difference between chance calls and assignable calls and how to respond. Right? Know how these things are working. If there's something wrong in your system, what is it? Can you name it? Is it somebody on vacation? Is it something in the system? We can change the system by changing our policies. Right? Again, policies are important to know. Right? Know your customers, their expectations and needs. Know what business you are in, right? Or you want to be in. Manage the work and not the people. Again, make policies explicit. Know the service level agreements, service level expectations, VIP limits, specialization. Who is a specialist on your team? If you just have one DB admin, and I'm at least in my experience, there's only one database admin in every company for hundreds of people. So there's always one for 100. And if you get to 200, there's a second one. and know the dependencies, right? And how to handle them, right? Exit criteria. What do we need to do to move on from one activity to another, right? Know how to work with the blockers, class of services. And to do all these things, you need feedback loops. David talked about that, the Kanban cadences. You need feedback loops to handle all this information you get. Like having a board, a Kanban board, with all the things you work on it, your blockers, people who work on this stuff, the exit criteria, it's all nice, but it won't improve if you are not having any feedback loops. Right? It just tells you that you're an idiot all the time. But you won't change if you're not reflecting on it and do something about it. So the Kanban cadences, we have the replenishment, where we schedule the work for the Kanban system. We have the Kanban meeting, which is working daily. What do we need to do to move this kind of this ticket to deliver it? The delivery planning meeting, service delivery review to improve our Kanban system if we have just one system. Operations review if we have many, right? So we need room for talking to have all these interdependent services talk to each other and exchange what they need and what they can offer, right? And then from there we can improve again. And very important, the risk review, right? Take a look at your risk. I will show you a picture how you can do this. Strategy review, senior level. Talk about your strategy. Is it still the right strategy? Do we need to change something? Is there something on the market we want to fill? You know, like maybe there's a niche we discovered and we want to get into that niche. Right? Maybe we want to get some more market share, or we have to defend market share, whatever. So the risk review, Klaus Leopold wrote about this, and David is mentioning it a lot. Always, I think it was the first time you did mention it. The blocker clustering and the risk review, right? So this here, it's a little weird, but the yellow tickets there are the blockers. The pink ones are the cluster names. So just spin it around in that. So these yellow tickets, these blocker tickets, these are around 90 tickets, and they were collected in 4 weeks, working. And they blocked work for 514 days. 4 weeks, and work blocked for 514 weeks. And this here took us 20 minutes to do. Cluster all the work, read, give the cluster a name, see how long each blocker blocked the work, and then add the different times together and see what kind of, which cluster you want to work on. Right? Improve collaboratively, evolve experimentally. So we want to improve together. Right? So if you change something, you have employees, you have a stakeholder, you have customers. If you change something, and one of these are not taken into account, it's probably a bad change, right? If you do everything for your stakeholders and everything for your customers and you forget your employees, they will run away. They will move on. And there's enough work nowadays to move, right? So think about that. If you change something, who is involved? Who needs? Who do we? Maybe we talk to these people. And another thing, use models to improve. Right? Don't do it like from your gut feeling. Like, oh, I think that's a good idea. Let's do this. Right? Have an idea what you do. Have a hypothesis, and try to check it. Some of these models here. Oops, thank you. Some of these you will hear today. I think Rodrigo was talking about anti-fragility, tribal behavior, and cost of delay, for example. No, about Kanban. David talked about cost of delay, and we have Mihai Csikszentmihalyi today here. Right? So he will talk about flow. And all these, and David mentioned liquidity today. So all these things, it's not like you have to implement these models into your Kanban system, but they give you an idea what could happen if I do something and build a model around it. And then prove that model, or like validate that model and learn from it. And then move on and do your baby steps. So all this I just told you about is the Kanban method. It's not only sticky notes on the wall. It's way more. Understand what service you are providing. Understand where you want to improve. And do all the things you need to improve that service, to be fit for purpose, to meet your fitness criteria and provide your customer a good service and something your employees are proud of, and where the stakeholder is likes what you do because he gets some money from it. So thank you for listening.